Now, I really hate sounding like a broken record, but I don't know how else I can start out videos by just saying this is such an amazing anime and I love everything about it. Every single arc, every single episode has been damn near perfect for myself, and this episode just blew me away once again. First things first, I do want to mention the whole Mai and Sakta relationship and what ultimately happened with the manager, and like I predicted last week, it was no dating allowed because in Japan there's this weird kind of stigma around like idols or anyone in the showbiz kind of dating because then the fans of those people, they're less inclined to buy into the product. But the thing that actually took me by surprise was how Mai didn't make a decision until she talked to Sakta, which made him so happy, and it made me very happy because this is one of those situations where I am so glad that the author that's currently making this is the one who designed this story, because in any other hand, so much that could go wrong with this. There's so many decisions in life that it shouldn't be a one-person decision, especially if you are in a relationship. Even though Sakta and Mai just got together, it's nice to see that Mai has grown so much that she is actually wanting a second opinion, because it's not just a decision that will affect her life, but one that will also affect Sakta. And I think the idea that, it's not as harsh as an idol business, where I'm pretty sure at least in most companies in terms of idols, they just don't allow them to date until they're out of the idol business. So it's not like Mai and Sakta can't go on dates forever. It's more of strategic planning. For now, let's, you're just getting back in the business. Let's just kind of sit low for a while, and then once things cool down, we can, because they're not going anywhere. They're not going to fall in love with someone else. They're very loyal and they're very dependent on one another, and I think just how they handled that so maturely, it's so refreshing. It's such a small portion in this episode, but the fact that it is a highlight, it just shows how good this series and just the character relationships truly are. This is a phenomenal anime, and Mai and Sakta are the best couple of the year, hands down in my honest opinion. But when it came to the Futaba arc and how it ultimately concluded, I thought that was actually pretty interesting. I was actually kind of anticipating for there to be a third version of her that would pop up and shake things out, but the fact that it really was just two of the same person. It really was just two Futabas. The only difference was that one was a little more risky than the other. And I think the idea of how really there's no drama at the end of the day. The only drama comes from, I would assume, the original, you could say, feeling like she's replaceable because the other version of her is actually able to go through with the things that she's scared of. And I think that's the proper way to design this arc, because really you have a girl who really hates herself, really despises herself, because she mentions it near the beginning of the episode how she actually developed a lot faster than those around her, and ultimately basically felt like an object that people and kind of monkeys around her would just glare at her because of how she looks, and really never gave a shit about the inside and who she was, and that really hit her self-confidence, which I thought was a really nice way to start this episode off, because especially with how it almost concludes, with her running away feeling like she is disposable, it was a nice way to really establish why someone like her could be split apart, and there would be a version of herself that doesn't have that filter that kind of holds her down and not lets her be a bit more risky, which I thought was a nice touch. It really gives you an insight to her character, because from what we can tell so far, before this arc began, she was a very kind of calm, very not really out there person, kind of kept to herself, and this kind of sheds a light on why she was doing that, which is a nice little subtle thing to establish her character. And then when you're seeing the more out there Futaba, it really sets a picture of why this adolescent syndrome could take hold and split them apart, and just the overall progression and where it goes, I thought was really nicely done. Like, I really don't think I have a favorite arc in this series, because I feel like each one, by the time they conclude, they just feel so proper, so perfect in their own right, that it builds into this amazing experience, and I hope it just keeps continuing as the season wraps up, as we get into that movie next year. Like, it was so nice just to see how it was progressing, and how, like, there's these moments where you're just like, if this was any other anime, I would be rolling my eyes and fearing for what was about to happen. The fact that, our boy Sakta does stay over the night because of what happens with the phone getting the messages that kind of freaks her out. This isn't a normal anime where you're like, oh, she's also falling in love with Sakta. This is gonna be the, no, I can't betray my love interest. No, it's, you're my friend. If you try anything, I will tell your girlfriend that you're a bastard. I'm just actually scared and you're my friend, which is such a refreshing change of pace. I wish it wasn't refreshing. I wish this was the norm for anime. This is just so human that certain characters may like Sakta, but this is really just a genuine friendship. This is the same girl that he's always been friends with, except in this situation, this version's a bit more daring and out there, which honestly, the whole idea of just two versions of the same person, and really not one was ever going to replace the other, it's a matter of just kind of the issue that she always faced of hiding away, not tackling things head on, but also hating herself herself and thinking that she needs like people to kind of give her a helping hand, where Socked is a guy who's just saying like it's okay to hate yourself, which I think is an actually really interesting thing to say, because there's been times in my life where it's like, honestly, you don't need a helping hand, you just need people to say it's okay to hate yourself. Like, honestly, it's as kind of messed up as it sounds, sometimes that's the best medicine for a situation that you can be in. And just the idea that he was just showing how good his best friend is by just saying, hey, she's in trouble, he rushes over. There's so many little beautiful moments in this episode that really just establish this cast as being so goddamn human. Sure, they're much more mature than a lot of kids their age, but you know, I was pretty mature when I was in high school. I often looked at people around me thinking like, god damn, why are these people so immature? So it's not like completely unrealistic that some of these characters are so goddamn mature, but I do like the fact that this episode ends in a very similar way to last arc, where the love doesn't get returned, but that's okay. The fact that Futaba has grown so much that she has the self-confidence to tell who she likes that, hey, I like you and I understand you can't be with me, make up with your girlfriend. Like, that is such a goddamn mature response. I love how this series tackles love and how it doesn't have to be returned, how love is complex, how there will be obstacles, but if you truly love the person, they will work with you to make it work. And then you also understand that the best medicine is to not hope that one day you can be with this person that you think you love, but rather express how you feel, accept the result, move on with your life. And the fact that this entire adolescence arc was just to show her that it's okay to feel bad about yourself, it's okay to just express yourself, and you don't have to constantly feel like the world is out to get you, kind of a thing. This was such a beautiful arc, very somber, very simple, but really hammered home just how great this cast is. It doesn't matter who's on screen, it really, really doesn't. This cast will always find a way to work. The trailer for next week looks pretty interesting. I'm excited to see how that's going to play out. The series is remarkable. It's absolutely extraordinary in every way, shape, or form. The overall facial reactions and detail to really express characters' emotions and what they're thinking without the use of dialogue is something I've always appreciated with this show, because it really does let this feel like a human cast of characters rather than anime drawings. Voice acting, once again, top notch. I mean, just, this is a phenomenal anime. I sound like a broken record, I know, but it is. I haven't been this excited for an anime in so very, very long. Like, honestly, however this show wraps up with its movie, if it gets a second season, I don't know how high it will claim in my favorites ranking, but it's definitely going to be up there. Let me know whatever you thought of this episode down in the comment section below. Your favorite moment, the most unexpected aspect to the episode, whatever you're thinking, let me know. And be sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and also hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content from me in the future. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.